kongololi
Akatin chitab Kalenjin eng witukulele imitei itagat eng tetutieng'ung nebo tililindo kainenyu ko Chesankaro Sirma. Kibendi kekusini kong logoiwekab emet chekatestai eng kebeberwek cheterterchin eng emoni itagat. Ko kitaune ole eng kasarta nekichopchingei lewenisiet neo noto nyonei kokotestai kibagengeit noto nebo IEBC nebo Office nebo Registrar of Political Parties ORPP kokoito kanetisiet koityi stakeholders cheterterchin kokuyo ortinwek chebo siretab chamaisiek chebo bolotet ak ortinwek chenyolu kosub ya chopchingei lewenisiet. Kinyoru sirindenyo Isaac Ogei asikoarorwech logoiwechuto eng koindo.
eng tuyet nekaituiyo officials chebo chamaisiek cheterter eng sukulitab muswoknotet noto nebo RVTTI komwa Hassan Maloba kole yekichopchingei lewenisiet neo nenyonei kotuitos ak ofisaek kobun departments cheterter neboto kandoikab bolotet konoisechi tugukab kamanut kobun ofisit notok bo Registrar of Political Parties.
Today we are conducting a training of our political party officials, parties with presence within Uasin Gishu County. This training is key that it will equip political party officials with the knowledge they need in ensuring that they are leading political parties in their counties well. The training entails taking the officials through the registration process just to appreciate the journey that political parties move from the first step of name search and submission of particulars to the last stage of full registration. The training also covers the compliance areas that ORPP looks at and expects political parties to abide by these compliance areas. Thirdly, the training looks at the political parties fund and the criteria that political parties are subjected to qualify to the political parties fund. We also look at the nomination procedures and criteria within political parties.
Kama Maloba kole ituitoskei ak kibagengeisiek alak cheboto IEBC kokoito akichek kanetisiet kotinygei ak ortinwek chotok chekiboisie eng chobetab chamaisiekab bolotet ak ng'atutik.
Actually, the office conducts trainings to political parties, basically starting through the registration process, where the officials are trained on the processes, how to register a political party, the expectations. We also do trainings for the party officials, fully registered political parties. This is one of them, and it's a platform where they can afford to comb their knowledge on the requirements of the ORPP office and how to be able to lead political parties with their counties well.
Kamite tuyo notok Matthew Chenger, returning officer kubun kibagenge notok ba IEBC kubun komasta nebo keses nesome officer chotok kokochi cherset biikab emet kosirgei koek birikab kura.
Ours as IEBC is to give out education, further education to the political parties about our preparedness for 2027 general election. They have quite a number of questions of what is they require. We have informed them about the continuous voter registration going on in our offices. Previously, between March and April, we had enhanced voter registration, which we did our best as Uasin Gishu and attained our target. We are now preparing for the next ECVR2, which will come towards the end of the year. And ours is to inform all political parties, all interested stakeholders to assist us in conveying information to our electorates, to the young Kenyans, to register as voters. We have also informed them to tell the young people also to get the IDs in good time so that the moment we start, they are ready to register.
Tesetai kibagengeisiek chotok tuwai kokoito kanetisiet koityi stakeholders tugul koro kole kaisub ng'atutik chenyolu eng kasarta noto nebo lewenisiet.
Currently, we are running the trainings in 13 regions that are started today, targeting different groups. The first day, which is today, we are targeting political party officials. Tomorrow, we are targeting women leaders within the 13 regions. On Wednesday, we are targeting youth leaders. On Thursday, we'll be having a training for the PWDs. And on Friday, we'll have a training for the civil society organizations.
Kong'ete taonitab Eldoret eng county nebo Uasin Gishu, logoiwekab emet chebo Kass, kainenyu ko Isaac Kogei.
Ketesetai kokakomwa minista nebo kimnatoshek Opiyo Wandayi kole mitei kamang'unet nebo kotestai korek alyetab mwanik kosubkei ak koshinet noton nebo kalyet nekoityi emotinwekab Amerika ak emetab Iran. Kong'ololi eng county noton nebo Narok kokamwa Wandayi kole koshinonoto kotakchingei keyat kebeberta nenaat kou Strait of Hormuz ne agenge eng ortinwek chebo kamanut mising eng loiset nebo mwanik. Kole wendi kakwautyonoto kotoreti korekune alyonotok bo mwanik. Kates komwa Wandayi kole tetutiet nebo chobetab refinery nelel nekiune mwanik netetat ketech eng taonitab Mombasa kale kowendi kora noto kotoreti eng tetutik chebo kerekune alyetab mwanik nekokotestai kolany mising eng konekit.
This tour is coming against the backdrop of the recent announcement of petroleum prices by EPRA. Those prices would definitely have been much higher, especially for diesel and kerosene. But because of intervention by the government through the Petroleum Development Levy, we have been able to reduce the price of diesel by 10 shillings per litre and maintain the price of kerosene. We are hopeful that in the wake of the truce between the USA and Iran, the global market of petroleum products is going to stabilize and normalcy is going to resume in the fullness of time. If and when that happens, the benefits will definitely accrue to Kenyan consumers. And as government, we remain their guarantor. Yes, we remain their guarantor. We just want to call for understanding. So by and large, we are looking forward to better times if we can just unite as a country and support the government in its initiatives. Well, you know we are doing a lot of things, yes, in the energy and petroleum sectors. First and foremost, you know the government petroleum importation framework has really been helpful, yes, in ensuring that we go through this process, these times, without much stress. We are going to strengthen that framework. Secondly, we are working with the private sector in the long term to ensure that we have got to petroleum strategic reserve, okay, in the country. But more critically, in the longer term, again, there are talks and there are plans to establish a regional refinery along the East African coastline. That will be very, very useful in terms of ensuring security of supply of petroleum products, not only for Kenya, but for the entire East African region.
Ketesetai kokakoboiboichi alage eng meng'ikab county nebo Bomet kakwautiet nekoib serikali korekune alyetab mwanik. Eng kit noto nekamwa kole wendi noto kakwautiet noto kotoreti eng rekunet noto nebo alyet nebo uchumi nekokwo barak mising. Nganda unotok kokamwa meng'ichoto kole takonyolu serikali kotakochuchuch eng nekamwa kole koichuchuch koichuchuch alyet nemitei ng'ony mising nenyolu kotakotes kochuchuch alyonoto kotkote koityi alyet noto nebo kotugul kosir nemitei eng nguni eng nekamwa kole mitei barak kora matin kokichuchuch chotok tutikin kale kotakomitei barak alyonoto bo mwanik.
Chon koboswech en mwanik kekere kele ndatokoboswech kora kidogo ko kikere kele maya. Ngap en customaek alak ngemwoe customaek alak kele mokibos kiy kolelen customaek kaking'al lakini en kerenyun komoboswech iman kiy. So kinomwoini serikali oleini ndatokoboswech kora kidogo komokikere koya.
Kikurenon Henok Kimng'eno Cheruyot, ane amiten kasitab bodaboda en Bomet. So kong'et serikali kobos tuten ako kiates around 30. So kisome serikali nenyonet kobose ng'alekab mwanik amun ndiker en bosetab mwanik ko makiyan amun ndimwoe chito beit ile siling ata komoyoni. So kisome William Ruto kotoretech en ng'alekab mwanik ot koechek biikab bodaboda ko ngeimut ot chito koit ot tenwek kong'eten tenwek tubo Bomet ko kitu 150. So kisome kele kotoretech amun kot kobos mwanik kobose uchumi nebo alak kobose chakula kobwa ngweny amun ndimwochi chito ile siling ata amun from example kot imut chito leten ak bakap kenu ki 50 betunot kotomo ketes mwanik so sai lile chito kokonin 70 bob kokere koui amun kele kakichil akine so kisome ne kele kobos ngalekab mwanik.
Kong'eten kingenapta mwanik ko kitestai koik barak alyetab nene ako kikali kit age tugul nguni amun ot en ele koimuten chito 50 shilling ndibore ile bokol kokere chito koui missing kolelen acha tomobune rabisiek chuto kila kolelen tomobune chechu ko ndibore imwoe iman en iman kebune chilutiet missing ako momi kasit amun biik eleo komekolonye pikipiki because of kikolany mwanik ko ndatakereku kidogo kekere koiku better at least. Kekuron Isaiah Rono ami ameng'indetab Bomet ako agenge en bodaboda ako kotiengei kerenyun ele kwakerta anendet ko nyolu takebos sendisiek chu kokinde konyolu ot kindewek beek kot 180 chu kita at least ot korimut chito television ko kikere isiche kenyindet akine amun en nguni kemwaita nguni komomi kasit nguni ako kit neu missing kemoe takobos ot kidogo.
Ane kainenyun kekuron Enoch Cheruyot ameng'unen olebo Bomet. Kaaker tabut nekokesiboten tabusiek chu tugul kinamen ot ng'alekab mwanik koak tabu. Ibore ot ile inde mwanik karit komomi yani sirire ile wanyindione ak tabu momi kit nekokebos ot nusu. Omokinai kele mwoe ne barak nguni ot ibore iyoe ot ile isor beek momi inam itorte karit kaui.
Ketesetai ak logoiwek ko kakomwa kandoindetab chechang eng bunge nebo Senate Aaron Cheriot kole tindoi katiaknatet biikab emoni konyor kibandok eng kerkeindo amanyolu kotesta polatet tetutyonoto ala keistoegei yautik alak tugul chebo katabanetab biik alak. Kinyoru sirindenyo Robert Siele asikoarorwech logoiwechuto eng koindo.
Sugulitab Chebigen Secondary en igortab wektaetab kongoi ak kaitoetab konunotoik koityi kipsomaninik 46 chebo sugulisiek cheterter en Kapsabos Ward chebendi sugulisiekab barak komwa majority leader en Senate nebo emoni Aaron Cheruyot kole bo kamanut kotesetai serikalitab emoni kokochi kibandok biik ak bororiosiek kikitabanen kasarta nekoi.
Hii mambo ya kitambulisho, it is a very primitive conversation. In any civilized society, an identity is just a form of recognition. Don't make it look like there are citizens that are better than others, that they are part of these countries that deserve IDs and others that don't deserve. Tunajua ile uchungu mko naye ni kwa sababu there are sections and communities that had been marginalized for years, but under the broad-based administration, we have made sure that Kenya is equal.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua koistoengei testaetab bolotet en tetutikab bandab tai akonai kole moe konyoru boroindo nebo kondochi emoni en kasarta age.
Ati amesema sasa ameretreat, ameenda 45 days kwenda kupumzika kule. Hata aenda chukua 45 years, wachana na 45 days. Lala kabisa nyumbani sababu hakuna siku utakaribia uongozi wa Kenya. Ama namna gani? Unajua hii wakora saa ingine wasipoambiwa wanafikiri ati Rais William Ruto amesahau. Wacha ile watu, mimi nikiangalia ile opposition kama squad ni ile, tutaambia William Ruto weenda Mombasa, enda upige maji wakati ya kampeni itafika. Utuachie hii watu, tutaswaga hao asubuhi na mapema. Hakuna watu ya kufanya siasa na sisi hapo.
Kosubkei ak Senator Cheruyot kokoib walet President Dr. William kekerchin ak serikalisiek chekikoba.
This administration, when you compare it, the Jubilee government in 10 years' time employed 50,000 teachers. This administration, in 3 years' time, they have employed 100,000 teachers. Now tell me, an administration that is building classrooms, we have built more than 24,000. In this current budget that we have just passed, there is an additional 20,000 teachers.
En kasaratan komembetab koning ng'atutik nebo aina moi Benjamin Lang'at kayanet kandoinatetab William Ruto ole ibelishen kasarta age nebo aeng en lewenisiet nenyone.
President Kibaki alienda miaka 10 yake kwa katiba ya wakati huo. President Uhuru Kenyatta ambaye sasa anatuambia ati sijui nini alienda sasa miaka 10 yake. Nani alisema William Ruto anaenda? Zile barabara zote ambazo zilikuwa zimekwama kwa sababu za madeni ambazo yule mwingine alikuwa amechukua, Mheshimiwa William Samoei Ruto akatengeneza kwa sasa hivi zile mashida ambazo tulikuwa nazo kwa barabara kutoka this financial year kwenda mbele, mabarabara zetu zote. Because of that, Ruto. You know, I heard my colleague Sifuna saying they want to come together so that they can defeat the president early. Let me inform you, my friend, because you know you are my political politics. The only thing you are competing with is the margin with which President William Ruto will defeat you. If you continue going separately,
Choton kocher sigik, kipsomaninik ak konetik kobois kibagenge asikekirinda yautik chemokororon cheboto belsetab sukulishek ak ng'emetab kalyet cheweche somanet. Ab emet chebo Kass kong'et kainenyun ko Robert Siele.
Ketesetai ko wendi ketou kokoitoetab kakeranet eng wikini nyone koityi biik chekityi kaimutik eng kasarta nekimite kambakosiek emoni. Nitok kosubkei ak kibagengeit neborchinkei imandab kipkosobei nebo Kenya National Commission on Human Rights KNCHR nekaikoito report koityi President William Ruto eng State House Nairobi. Kitaban serikali kitaban eng arawetab 4 rabisiek silingisiek bilionisiek 2 chekiboisie kikerone biik chotok chekityi kaimutik eng kasarta nekibit chemarget eng emoni eng kasarta kokebata lewenisiet nebo 2017 ak 2022 ole kosubkei ak nebo ng'echeret eng commission inotok Clarice Oganga kotokyingei kakeranata kowisis ng'wonindo nekibun familia nebo biik chekibet tilyanutikwak eng kasarata kibo chemarget eng emet.
This framework represents a major milestone in protecting the rights of those harmed during protests, advancing social reconciliation, providing redress for victims, and strengthening our democracy. As a demonstration of our commitment, we have already allocated Kenya shillings 2 billion towards compensation and reparation for those who have suffered verified harm arising from protests and unrest, including affected families, injured citizens, businesses lost, and law enforcement officers injured in the course of their duties. They are not the price of life, of pain, or of loss. No amount of money could ever be. The Kenya shillings 2 billion we have committed cannot replace a son or a daughter. It cannot restore years and lot of trauma. It cannot fully compensate a family, a trader, or a community for all that has been taken away from them. What it does represent is the state's acknowledgement that harm occurred, that victims matter, and that a nation heals by tending to its wounds rather than pretending they do not exist.
Today's event comes at a particularly important moment in our constitutional journey where we are actually implementing the rights that are guaranteed to our people. The Constitution that we are building and breathing life to today is a charter that was fought with the blood, that was fought with the demonstrations, and therefore today is a big celebration that our Constitution is truly transformative and it is recognizing the rights of those who have given their lives to it.
A political leader of whatever stature, character, and opinion will organize what, in their view, is a legitimate demonstration, make sure that they control their supporters and hold both their supporters and the leaders, hold each other accountable for the process, and then be assisted by the police to carry out the demonstrations and say what they don't like and go home in the evening. That is the dream of this country.
Tunataka tujue hii haki hii ambayo iko ndani ya katiba, Wakenya wataifurahia vipi? Na sheria hii si kubana kufurahia kwa haki hii kwa Wakenya, bali ni kuweka bayana ni vipi haki hii inaweza kufurahiwa na Wakenya.
This unprecedented national undertaking marks the first time in Kenya's history that the government has on its own initiative embarked on such a process, one that seeks to formally acknowledge that human rights violations occurred, and this landmark initiative signifies a clear commitment to move the nation from documenting to redressing, from acknowledgement to reform, and from recognition to accountability.
The Bible also tells us the magic word in human relations is the simple word sorry, that makes people appreciate that they have been wronged, and whoever wronged them acknowledges that wrong. We come here today guided by your patriotic feeling, guided by our collective duty that we must heal our country.
Let us expeditiously establish one so that we can have a law which guides demonstrations so that Kenyans can demonstrate peacefully without being disturbed and being protected by their own police, because they are the ones who pay the police. And if you see anybody carrying a knife or carrying a stone, you know that that is a goon. And those goons are not few. There are very many. Almost every politician is nowadays recruiting a goon. Huh?
Ketesetai ko eng kasarta netesetai konyoru chamet neo kabatisiet nebo kawek eng county nebo Nandi, ko kakecher kabatik koker kole kachut kibagengeisiek chebo cooperative societies asikobit konyorune kelunoik. Kama Dickson Tanui ne inendet ko consultant nebo cooperatives kole chang kelunoik chenyorune kabatik yekachut kibagengeisiek ole toreti ichek kobit konyorune kelchin kabatisienywa. Ole kinyoru sirindenyo Nelson Tarbei ak logoiwechu eng koindo.
Kamwa Tanui kole nyalu eng kabatikab kawek eng kaunti nebo Nandi koityi kamanutiet kurset nebo kochut ichek kibagengeisiek choto.
Achere mising kabatik chebo kawek especially in county nebo Nandi kechut kibagengeisiek chebo cooperative societies amu the only way nekimuchi kenyoru the bargaining power ak kemuch kealde kawek chok without being exploited by brokers ko keregistan cooperatives sikealde rurutik chok chebo kawek through the cooperative amu this cooperative kora kemuchi kechop a centralized place ole kimuchi keyai ngalekab pulping of our pulping stations amu ngoi chi agenge komuchi inyoru challenge mising ya kaibut kawekuk imache ichore imache iyachi the other value chain processes, but ngechutu cooperatives through our collective responsibility kimuchi kebas chepkondok chekimuchi keale akot machine nekimuchi kengae kawek more than 1000 kilograms per day.
Nito kotoreti kabatik mbolea ak kerichek chekiribe kawek eng oret ne nyumnyum.
Komuchi kesirte barwet direct to the National Cereals and Produce Board sikedeliverwech mbolea chechoket through the cooperative, through the store nebo cooperative instead nekatatekekwendi mkulima age tugul kwendi olin bo cereal koipchingei inputs chechiket. Number 2 komite agrochemical industries chekemuchi keyai partnership tugul kechop a very good and modern store nekimuch kestoene those agrochemicals singomi mkulima nekanyor mogonjwet kawek chik, komi mkulima nekanyor challenge kawek chik nemache kosember, nemache kwa anything in agricultural farm practices komuchi konyorchi a cooperative society nemite kayutok sikomuch konyor. So the only way lekimuchi kenyorchi kelchin naichu tugul ko kechut cooperative societies.
Kabit nito eng kasarta nekere ine kole kokotestai konyor toretet neo kabatikab kawek kobun serikalitab kaunti nebo Nandi.
Amu kikere kora serikalit saisi kou county nebo Nandi through the Department of Agriculture and Cooperative ko kokikere kakotoi county koropchi wakulima kawek keswek, kakotoi koropchi pulping machines, kakotoi kokochi cooperative societies chepkondok chekimuchi kechobe stores anan chekimuchi ketorete kechobe offices chechwaket. Ko the only way lekimuchi kenyorunde chepkondochu kokimuchi kenyorunde support nebo serikali ko keng'jan kibagengeishek chebo cooperative societies.
Kounoto kocher ine kabatik kokol kawek asobit konyor ichek kelchinoik cheterter.
This is the only value chain neimuchi determine its volumes irrespective of the size of the land you have. Imuch itinye kawek 100 ichekei chebo 1 point. Lakini olekebaite, oleketaunde practices chebo kebale keringet, olekeselectende the seeds, akoib keribe kot koekitu kot koyam kekes, komuchi determine amu it's the only product neimuchi determine the number of kilograms cheimuchi inyoru per season per year yekemuch irib kawat komie. Kikebe olimbo Meru, kikebe olimbo Ntimbiri cooperative societies, eng olimbo Mukarimu farm, eng olimbo Meru. Ak keker kele it is very possible kobit akot ketit agenge nekaproducen up to 100 kilograms per season. That means ngot itinye 100 kilograms, you multiply by 100, you multiply by 130 shillings per kilo yakenyoru grades chekororonen, ikere ile imuch inyoru chepkondok chechang. Another thing, this is the only value chain nebo agriculture ne ngelipani chepkondok yakiyai direct exports komuchi kenyoru chepkondok chekilipani through the dollars. In fact, koa cooperative officer ko ya most of the time ya kero biik koyoto account ke-encourageni kelechin oyat a dollar account.
Kong'eteke kaunti nebo Nandi logoiwekab emet chebo Kass, kainenyu ko Nelson Tarubei.
Itagat kogeny ak eng logoiwek chebo ureriosiek kotetat keyai eng weekend nenyone trials chebo Team Kenya chekileweni timitab Commonwealth Games ako iarorwech koindab logoiwechuto sirindenyo Martin Cheriot Chegunur.
Tetat kotet kibagengeit nebo Athletics Kenya kabelisiosek chebo Athletics Kenya National Championships en weekend nenyone kong'eten betutab ko4 kasi agoi betut nebo Jumamos en kiwanjet nebo Nyayo. Kabelisiosek choton keboisien kora koik trials chekilewenen timitab Kenya nebo labatosiek newendi kabelisiet nebo Commonwealth Games netun kiyoen emet nebo Scotland en arawet nebo 9 agoi arawet nebo 8. Kang'ong niton Paul Mutui, Vice President nebo kibagengeit nebo Athletics Kenya eng betutab raini.
Represent Kenya at the games in athletics. Following selection, Athletics Kenya will officially hand over the athletic team to the National Olympic Committee of Kenya, that is NOC, the body responsible for Kenya's participation in international competitions. Occasion or the championship will be made to select the team for the Commonwealth Games, which will take place in Glasgow, as I've said, from 23rd July to 2nd of August. How will the athletes be selected? Requirements. A. Athletes to be selected must have been accredited for the games by NOC.
Kaimuch kong'ongora Paul Mutui criteria nekiboisien kelewenen rwoik chetetat kotokyigei trials choton Ako ngong kole tetat koyokto kibagengeit nebo Athletics Kenya rwoik 49 koba Commonwealth Games kouye mokto kibagengeit nebo National Olympic Committee.
What does that mean? That means Athletics Kenya was requested by NOC to present the athletes' probables, and they were given about 400 athletes altogether. Then finally that number has been thinned to 150. The reason for this, like it may also be said thereafter, is for NOC to prepare these athletes for undergoing certain kind of requirements which an athlete has got to perform or to come through with before his or her name is selected.
Kaimut kunyor toretet kibagengeit noton kobun benkit nebo KCB nebo milionishek 10.
Partnered with Athletics Kenya to support both the national athletics sponsorship. This investment played a key role in facilitating the successive staging of the events and providing a platform for athletes to compete at the highest level. We aim to further elevate this agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm proud to announce that KCB has once again committed Kenya shillings 10 million to the Commonwealth Games athletics trials that will be held at the Nyayo National Stadium next week. The sponsorship
Kabelisosiek choton kotetat kotach rwoik chebo lelesta anan elite athletes chebo emet nebo Kenya. Martin Cheriot Chegnur, Kass TV, ureriosiek.
Chitab Kalenjin ako yuto kokakituch kayumetab logoiwekab emet eng orititab tetutieng'ung nebo tililindo. Kainenyu ko Sankaro Sirma, testai ikere Kass TV, kimnatet night.